This is going to be a pretty short video. It's just addressing something that that I thought was interesting as a Jehovah's Witness, and it's something that maybe will get current and even former witnesses thinking, and that's this the concept of resurrection. When I was a Jehovah's Witness, I always the resurrection was something that always concerned me because I was never sure if, and this is back when I believed that it was true, I was never sure that I would actually be resurrected. And by that, I don't mean that I would die at Armageddon or something of that nature. My concern was, what if I die and I'm loyal to the organization and and God resurrects me? But the question I always had was, would it really be me that God is resurrecting? And the reason I question that is because Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe that people have a soul. And they also don't believe that God is going to reconstitute the atoms that made up an individual in order to bring them back. Essentially, when God resurrects everyone, what's actually happening is that he's creating a copy of that person, a perfect copy, but it's a copy nonetheless. And so this concerned me because I believed that there would be a resurrection, and I believed that God would create that copy of me to live forever in paradise. But I worried that the original me, the me who is sitting here right now, who's talking to you right now, would not be the one who was brought back. And the best way I can illustrate this is an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that I watched when I was a kid. In this movie, society has discovered a way to clone. I guess it starts off with them cloning pets, and essentially they're able to download someone's memories and put them into a clone. And so, in this fictional world, clones of humans and copying human memories is illegal, but a company is doing it anyway. And several of the clones that they have working for them have died several times in the past. And so you see different scenes where one of these clones dies. They're able to get their memories, download the memories from this person who died, and then they're able to put those memories into a clone of them, and then that clone lives on with all of those memories. Yet you see this clone get up from the table after being downloaded with the memories and walk over to the dead body of the previous clone and take an earring off of this clone and put it on their ear. And so the visuals hammer the point home pretty well, in my opinion, about this concept of resurrection as far as the way Jehovah's Witnesses look at it. Because that person with all of those memories is still dead. And they're simply a copy, a completely different entity that is now taking their place. And the point is hammered home even more later on in the movie, where the main antagonist is fatally wounded, and before they die, they're able to make a clone of themselves and download their memories into that clone. But the clone comes to life with all of those memories and looks down at the individual who is still alive but is dying, and I forget what it takes from him, some sort of information. But when you think of it from a Jehovah's Witness perspective, you can look at the situation and think about when the resurrection is supposed to happen, and think about someone who has died, and they died maybe like 10 minutes ago or even 10 seconds ago. They died, and then God creates a copy of them and brings that copy to life with all of the memories of that dead person. So maybe from a Jehovah's Witness perspective, they would look at that and say, oh, look, this person is resurrected, in spite of the fact that the original person, the original individual, their mind, their body died, and their consciousness is gone. There's a new body with a consciousness that matches that previous body, but they're not the same entity. Now, change it up a little bit and imagine that someone is in the process of dying, and God creates that copy of them before they're even dead, with all of their memories and all of the experiences. You can kind of see my point, where the last thing that entity would see, that individual would see, is the copy of them that's going to live on and take their place. But they are still going to die, and they are still going to cease to exist. So that's an interesting thought experiment, I guess. And for myself as a witness, that's something that I had a really hard time with, and it's very difficult to get over. It's one of those questions that they often told us just not to think about. But it's really, for myself, it was impossible not to think about. And in my case, I'm no longer religious, but I always find it ironic when Jehovah's Witnesses criticize me and ask me or tell me in oftentimes a condescending manner, oh, so you just believe that you're going to die and that's all there is. Well, if you're a Jehovah's Witness and you believe in the resurrection as it's taught by Jehovah's Witnesses, then technically that's what you believe too. You do believe that there's going to be a copy of you that's going to be made after you die, and that copy is going to live on and live life just like you would have. But essentially, you believe that when you die, no matter what. Even if a copy of you is brought back to be judged and to live on in paradise, or to get killed again in the second death. Technically, you believe that if you die before Armageddon, you're dead for good. The entity that is you, the being that is you, will be gone, and a copy will take your place in the future. So, like I said, this is just something that, an issue that I've given a lot of thought to, and something that bothered me a lot as a Jehovah's Witness. And maybe if you're a Jehovah's Witness listening to this, hopefully what I was saying makes sense, and maybe it'll give you some food for thought and start you down the path of questioning some more of the organization's teachings, because these are things that are important. Even if you believe that there's a God and you believe that there's life after death, it's really important to have a firm grasp on what it is you believe and what it is that you believe is going to happen to you after you die. So that's all I have for now. Until next time.